Hi, welcome to another Intros, Vamps and Endings. This one is a classic shuffle pattern. You can use it on one chord, just to stick on that one chord as a vamp between verses, but you can actually use it on lots of chords, sometimes all the way through a song. What we're doing here is we're going from the chord we're playing, which is a major chord, and we're going to the same chord but as a sixth chord. Now, sixth chords, they're not ones you come across as often as seventh chords, and certainly when you're learning you'll find seventh chords before you hit sixth chords, although you probably know one sixth chord, C6, no fingers. But what we want to do is we want to go from a major chord to a sixth chord and back again, and it creates this little bit of movement. We don't really go anywhere, but it keeps interest and rhythm. I did it in A in the introduction. So an A to an A6. Now, you might recognise this shape as an F sharp minor, and that often happens. We have sixth chords that are actually exactly the same as minor seventh chords. You will have probably called this C6 an A minor 7 before now. Same notes, but they're just an anagram of each other. So we're going to often find shapes when we're looking at sixth chords that look like a minor or a minor seventh chord. This one looks like an F sharp minor. We're just adding our ring finger on the second fret of the second string. Then we can do this. Notice how I'm doing a shuffle rhythm, a swing rhythm. I'm not going, that doesn't really work. I'm going bum, 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 off, on, off, on with my finger. So I'm doing two strums on each one of those different chord shapes, if you like, but I'm not doing them evenly spaced. I'm doing them like a heartbeat feel. Bum, 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 off, on, on. Once you've got that, all you've got to do is find sixth chords. Let's do another one. F. So here's your F chord. Now an F6 is just like a D minor. You put your ring finger down on the third string, second fret. And then you can do this. That's a D minor, it's also an F6. Let's try another one. Let's try G. Now you might know a G6, and if you do, you probably know this one. You take a G and you take off your ring finger, and that's a G6. The only problem is, this sounds better when the note goes up and down. So that was our A1 in our F1. That was our one in our F bar. If I just isolate that one string, this is going to go. It doesn't really work. What we need to do is find that open string note, that E note that we're adding to make a G6 chord, somewhere else. And we can find it at the fourth fret of the C string. So get your little finger and see if you can reach over to play the fourth fret of the C string without taking off the G chord. In fact, what you've actually got there is an E minor chord if you look at it. It's not how you might normally finger that E minor chord, but it's the same notes, it's an E minor chord. So in G, we put our little finger down there. Same thing happens in C. We can do a C and we can do a C6, but that note is going down, it's not going up, it's not the right note to move. We need to find that note, A, somewhere else. Well, we have a G string here, and if we raise G up by 2 frets, we get an A. Oh, it's the same note. So if we play a C chord and we add our index finger on the second fret of the G string, we can do it there. Now a lot of the other ones that we want to do, we can do just by moving one of those shapes further up the neck. So if we know how to do the A1, we can play a B flat chord, which looks like an open A moved up 1 fret. And we can move it up one more and we're in B. We can move it up to the 3rd fret and we've got another way of doing C. If you can find a shape like that and move it up the neck, then you can fill in all the gaps for the other ones that you want. But if you get lost, find a little chord book and look up the chord you want as a sixth chord and see if you can get that movement between the major chord and the sixth chord. Now I said we could use this as a vamp. In between verses, if you get to the end of a song and it goes something like, I can keep doing that as long as I want until I'm ready to do the next verse, and then I can go into the next verse. I don't have to keep doing that while I'm singing. And I only really need to be able to do it on the home chord. If we're in A, A. If we're in C, C. But I could take it and push that a little bit further and try and work it out for all of the chords in my song. You're not going to want to do it if you've got dozens of chords in a song, but if it's a 2-chord song or a 3-chord song, you might see how many of them you can make that work on. So for example, if I'm in C, I could do my C. I might want an F to go with that. And a C. Now my G is going to be a G7, so I could just stay on a G7 and not do it. Or I could replace the G7 with a G and do that one and have it on all 3. So have a play around with that one, and you can use it for all sorts of things, particularly if you're looking at blues, rock and roll, that kind of thing. Hope you've enjoyed this, and hope to see you again soon for another intro, vamp or ending. Bye.